Do you feel like you can turn a hoe into a housewife?
Karlous Miller on why you can turn a hoe into a housewife. But here's the catch. What he said next will leave you speechless.
Hoes make the best housewives
Why?
because they know what men like. That's why they successful hoes.
Okay.
Go to a Super Bowl party. Watch how a hoe work the room.
How she do it?
She know how to talk to every dude in there.
Okay.
The hoe is bringing the chips out. She gonna stay a little later, hit them dishes. The hoes know what men like. They study men the same way. Like, they got it. You could put them in a room with anybody, and
But I'm saying if she's ran
the money,
through.
they're gonna find the opportunities.
I do all these things that you're saying, and I have never been a hoe a day of my life.
I believe it.
Promiscuously.
I believe it. I believe it.
So I'm saying, like, promiscuous women.
Yeah.
Would you marry a promiscuous
Would
woman?
I?
Yeah.
At this age, I don't think that it's avoidable.
What?
I don't.
How?
Think about it, right? I'm 42.
Okay.
If I meet a woman who's 42, she been for the last 27 years.
Do you feel like you can turn a hoe into a housewife?
Karlous Miller on why you can turn a hoe into a housewife. But here's the catch. What he said next will leave you speechless.
Bruh, when I say that boy got down on that one, boy, that boy got down on that right there, boy. Wasn't nothing but a little short, but he said something that could last. You could spend 2 hours talking on that, boy. Karlous, that was a great question. Look, I'm Mike Geesh, and just came across this small clip of Karlous Miller, and you heard what she asked. Can you turn a hoe to a housewife? What a topic. Can you turn a hoe to a housewife is probably the number one man rule. Well, you can never turn a hoe to a housewife, or never turn a hoe to a housewife is probably the on the top of the list of man rules. Maybe right behind a man has to stand on what you say. You know what I'm saying? Or all I got is my balls and my word. You know what I'm saying? Probably behind there. Never turn a hoe to a housewife is maybe number 2. But in this world that we live in this modern age, that may have changed. Maybe it's not a man law anymore, or it has gone further down the list because, as Karlous so eloquently said and stated, you can't avoid hoes in today's time. He 42, I'm 46. Even though I know I look like I'm 36, or maybe 34. I'll take a couple more years back. But I'm 46 years old. And I'm actually currently have my eyes out for a wife. I've never been married. I know, never been married. I was engaged once. That was when I was in my 20s, but I've never been married. And I, right now, would like to be married. I would like to be married. But the choice that I have, and don't get me wrong, I'm not sitting up here saying like I'm Barack Obama or nothing like that. But I'm just saying, the pick of the litter is very slim out here. Because as Karlous said, you can't avoid meeting a woman that's promiscuous. She done been sleeping around for 30 years, maybe, at least 27 years, like he said. She been sleeping around a long time. And accumulatively, those years of bodies of different sleeping with different men makes you a hoe. And I know a lot of women probably don't want to hear that, but it's the truth. If you have slept with all these men over a period of time, what I'm left with is a woman who is used up. I'm sorry. I know that sounds terrible. I'm not trying to be on no red pill stuff. I'm just being honest. And I know women will say, well, you've been used up. You 46 years old and do. Well, maybe. You can look at it that way. But women don't usually look at it that way. You know what I'm saying? That's not the way that it usually goes, And it's a lot of factors that go into the physiology of a woman's body and the physiology of a man's body that makes it different. Makes it different. And with men, all we gotta do is have money. And we can go out there and buy a wife if you got money. You can. You can find a wife. You know what I'm saying? If you got the money. We gotta have the money. Women gotta have the lesser number of bodies on them. That's the deal. I got the money. You gotta have the modesty. That's how it's always been for thousands of years. Women used to be virgins. Fathers used to give away their daughters for cattle. You give me 10 goats and 7 cattle, and you may marry my daughter. She is a virgin, pure. So that was the worth of a woman back then. But like I said, we're in modern times, so things have changed. Can you turn a hoe to a housewife? Yeah, I think so. Would I want to marry a hoe? No. Tell you an interesting story. It was this hoe me and my homeboy grew up with. She was like the neighborhood hoe, pass around. And this is when I was like 15 in high school, 14, 15. Everybody slept with her pretty much. So now we're grown up. We're in our 40s. And he remained friends with her throughout the years. They just remained friends. I lost contact with her, of course, but he remained friends with her. So now she's in her 40s. She looking for her husband. And she done moved from here to Houston to Miami looking for a husband because she said ain't no good men in Atlanta. So she moved. Couldn't find one. Now she back in Atlanta. So I'm talking to him and he said, hey, why don't you get with so-and-so? And I'm like, hell no. I can't get with the neighborhood hoe. He like, bruh, that was 20, 30 years ago. That was 30 years ago, bruh. We all got a past. Yeah, but I know her past. And that's the difference, I think. That's the main difference. Me knowing your past and not knowing your past. Because see, she has a good job. She, you know what I'm saying? She has one child. I have one child. She's not a whore. She's a grown woman. She wants to be a wife. And he said she can cook and she's cool. Well, she always was cool back then, you know what I'm saying? Well, of course she was neighborhood hoe. Of course she was cool. But I'm just saying, she probably will make a good wife. She'll probably be a great wife. Great in bed, can cook. All that. She probably be faithful to you and all that. But it's the fact that I know that you have smashed people that I know. And that's the issue. That is the main issue. And I can never be with a woman I know has just had sex with people I know. I know you done had sex, but you had sex with people I know. I definitely can't do that. So ultimately, to answer this question, it's possible to marry, to make a hoe into a housewife. Also, I know another girl who was a super slut in high school. Saw on Instagram, she's smiling with her husband and her 3 kids. Taking all type of family pictures. I was just like, wow. So yeah, you can turn the hoe into a housewife. As long as you don't know she used to be a hoe. That's how I feel about it. All right, y'all. I'm out, man. I'm going to holler at y'all next time. I'm Mike. Geesh. Peace.